When I think of RV parks and some campgrounds, people are so crammed in together, but this one actually, you have some breathing room. If you come here, you're not gonna feel super cramped. Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. So today you guys are going to come along with me as I review Vado Lake State Park. It's part of the New Mexico State Park system that you can buy the annual camping pass for. And that's something that I did this year with the idea of going around to all the campgrounds that I can and doing a review of each one and letting you guys know what's there, what's good, what's bad, all that stuff. So today we're going to take a look at Vado Lake State Park. It's a really cool area. The water is really low right now, so I want to give you a real quick heads up on that. And also the park is actually closed right now. They're doing some renovations, there's doing some work on the dam. A lot of things are going on right here right now. But it is open for day use right now, and they still are starting to take reservations starting May 15th, I think, something around that time frame. So you do have that option of still coming and taking a look. Now, I did want to tell you a little bit about Vado Lake State Park and some of its origins. So the dam was actually built in 1935. Before that, it was actually a bustling town called Vado. That's how it got its name. The town was a big hub for lumber in the rail industry. So railroads were coming through there, grabbing the lumber, taking it to different areas. And so it was a bustling area. In fact, it was the biggest town in this county at the time. But you will now find remnants of that at the bottom of Vado Reservoir. And so it's still down there somewhere really deep. The reservoir gets to 167 feet deep. So if we drained the lake completely or the reservoir completely, you would see a small town down there, which is kind of neat. But today we're just gonna look at the things above water for the most part. And so come with me and we'll go take a look and see what Vado Lake State Park has to offer all of us. Hey guys, I just wanted to give you a real quick heads up on something. So when I tried to get to this area coming from the south, from Cuba, New Mexico, try to route me along this road right here, which is Road 112. What it didn't tell me was it's 16 miles of dirt road and not good dirt road. It's rough, there are windy spots, so I don't recommend it. I did have to go about 20 or 30 miles out of the way in order to get here, but I'm glad that I read the reviews ahead of time that said, do not go Highway 112 or Road 112 because it is awful, it is rutted, it's washboarded. So keep that in mind. Google will try to send you this way. Don't listen. So reroute yourself, figure out another way to go. The other thing is that they're actually doing work on the dam. And so it's gonna be, this road will be closed for the next 2 months anyway, but Google will still probably try to send you this way. Again, don't listen. Find your other way to go, find an around way to get here. You'll be much happier. Now, if you wanna test the limits of your 4x4, high clearance, all the power to you. I don't want to leave parts of my motorhome strewn on the road as I try to drive this, so I'm glad I didn't. So just wanted to let you guys know. When it comes to camping here at Vado State Park, there are 7 or 8 campgrounds throughout the lake area, and there are 80 sites total. Now, they are all reservation only, so there are no walk-ups, so you have to be aware of that. If you want to come here, I highly recommend making a reservation in advance. Now, they do have some primitive campsites along the western side of the lake or west of the spillway, and they're just kind of dotted throughout that area over there to the west. So there is that option of primitive camping. You still need the state park pass in order to camp over there, but you don't need a reservation for those primitive sites. Now, there are no picnic tables, there's no shade, there's no any other amenities out there. You'd have to come back here to use the shower, to dump your garbage, things like that. But there are primitive sites out there that you should at least be aware of. Now, when we're talking about the developed campsites, the 80 of them that are here in the park, I'm at one of them right now, and the first thing I noticed, there's no shade. at all. So you need to be aware of that. They do supply these shade structures, which is really nice, with a picnic table underneath them. So you can get some shade during the day, but your tent, your vehicle, your motorhome, whatever you have is going to be in direct sunlight. So you need to be aware of that. We are at 7,200 feet elevation, so we are higher elevation, but it can still get warm here in the summer. So just be aware of that. What I highly recommend is that you call the state park. The information is on the website. Ask them for the current conditions. Ask them for typical temperatures of when you're arriving. They probably know all that information. But again, they'll let you know lake level, what's open, what's not, because there are some closures this year because they're working on the dam. But just things that you need to be aware of. Now, when we're talking about campgrounds in general, we do have a lot of things, amenities that they offer here. So one of the things is they have showers, they have flush toilets and vault toilets. They do have running water. So out of the 80 campsites, 17 of them are water and electric, and then 2 of them are full hookup. So there'd be water, electric, and sewage. But throughout the campground, even if you don't get one of those sites, those hookup sites, you will still be able to fill up your water tanks. There's an RV dump station on site. So you have a lot of amenities such as that here at the campground. Okay, so again, not always my favorite part of nomad life, but an essential part is the dump station. And so this one, it just has one dump station at this location. I don't know if there's another one around here. I don't think there is, but it does have rinse water, and you can get to it from either direction. So you can be going this way or this way, although there's only one hole. So if there are 2 people doing it opposite, you'd have to take turns. But again, not a big deal. This one's actually in pretty good shape, so thumbs up to that. You don't get your drinking water here. Signs all over says do not drink from that particular area. There are other places throughout the campground that does have drinking water. So go there for the drinking water, come here to dump. Easy as pie. Now, a couple other things to keep in mind. I just checked cell service here. You do have some cell service here. AT&T was on LTE, but about 1 bar. Wasn't very fast, but you can use it. Verizon, it's a little different. It's on roaming here, and so I wasn't even able to do a speed test. So if you are able to use Verizon here, it's going to be very, very little, so you need to be aware of that. Now, you drive 10 miles or even 5 miles out of the park, and you're going to have cell signal again, enough so that I was able to make a video call from about 5 miles away. So you do have options such as that. I forgot to mention they do have a playground. A lot of these state parks do have a playground because they are catered towards families, and so they want to make sure there's something to entertain the kids. In these playgrounds, while they are made for kids, for science, I'm going to play on it just to make sure it works okay. So join me. Okay, scientifically speaking, thumbs up, it works. I didn't do so well on the little corkscrew thingy. Tripped me up a little bit, but I came out with a dismount. I got it. So you got to have fun at these places. Now, I will say the nice thing about this campground is that all the spaces are really well spread apart. I've been very impressed with that so far. A lot of the state parks I've been really impressed with because they do have a little space. When I think of RV parks and some campgrounds, people are so crammed in together, but this one actually, you have some breathing room. So I just want to at least let you guys know that if you come here, you're not going to feel super, super cramped. Now, when it's full, it's going to feel full, but you'll still have your own space and it will be very nice. Now, one of the options if you're going to camp at Vado Lake State Park is that they do have an area called the Peninsula up on the northern part of it. You have to go through Heron Lake State Park to get here. But I would not recommend it. I thought maybe this would be a cool place to check out. It is beautiful back here, but the road getting here was really rough. It was at first a dirt road, which is fine. The motorhome could have handled that. But then it got into some really moving, undulating surfaces that my tracker did okay, but anything else I would not recommend, quite honestly. A Jeep would be okay, but even a van, if your stuff is not bolted down really well inside, you're gonna have some problems. So I would not recommend the Peninsula as primitive camping for the Vado State Park. So just my 2 cents. Now, a couple other things that I thought I would mention while visiting Vado Lake State Park is that there's not a ton of amenities right in the local area as far as like groceries and things like that. There is a small town about 9 miles from here that has a Family Dollar, a gas station, you know, a convenience store, but nothing like a big grocery store. So I would highly recommend, if you are coming here, to make sure you get your supplies and things like that before coming here. It's always nice to give the local economy a little boost and shop at some of those places, but you may not be able to find everything you need. So just something to keep in mind for you. Okay, so when we talk about Vado State Park, I want to also let you guys know of the recreational activities that are around here. Because a lot of us, one of the reasons we're on the road is we want to go play, we want to go see things, we want to go do things. So I thought I'd at least give you guys the breakdown of what is offered here at Vado Lake State Park. A couple of the first things that come to mind are boating activities. So motorized boats are allowed here. In fact, they have water skiing here. So you have motorboats, you have water skiing, you have sailboats. You can do any kind of paddle craft, obviously. So kayaking, stand-up paddleboard, things of that nature are all allowed here. So thumbs up to that. A ton of fishing in this area. So people, that's one of the main draws of this area is people come here to fish. And so keep that in mind if you are an angler, if you want to get out on the water, it's a great place to do it. Other things, they actually have scuba diving in this lake, which that really surprised me. I never would have thought that they would have scuba diving here. It doesn't come to mind, I guess. So you do have that. The lake, when it's full, is 3,200 acres of surface area. And so 3,200 acres is quite a big area, and the water is very low right now. So imagining this being completely filled is got to be just gorgeous. The mountains in the background are also gorgeous, dotted with trees and so forth. It's a very, very pretty area. So other things that you can do in this area. So this is a place that you can take your horses. Unload them here. You can also take the horses around in the trails, which is really nice because not all state parks allow that, and this is one of them that does. So keep that in mind for all you people with horses out there. This might be a good place to go. Again, I'd highly recommend calling the park, making sure those areas are open and that you can actually get your horse in here. Beyond that, there's also some hiking and biking, mountain biking to be done around here. So there's not a ton of trails, but there is one major trail. It's 5.5 miles each way, and it goes from this state park to Heron State Park to the north and east of here. And so it's it kind of goes along the river that joins the two state parks, and there's also a suspension bridge in there somewhere. It's closed right now, I think because of the winter, but it sounds fascinating and apparently it's a really pretty hike. I haven't done it, so I can't give you firsthand knowledge of that, but at least be aware that those are the kind of things that you can do here at the state park. Now, for all of you winter buffs out there, I don't know how many of you are out there watching, but Vado Lake State Park also offers some winter activities. They have ice fishing because, again, this is a really big fishing area. So they have ice fishing. You can also do snowshoeing, cross-country skiing, sledding. Sledding is something that they have on their webpage. So I'm not here during the winter, but that's pretty cool that you can come here and do sledding. So if you're not here during the winter, though, you have all the other activities that you can do during the summer months. So keep that in mind. But I don't think you'll be bored here. There's lots to do, and it's a pretty area. And at 7,200 feet, it's certainly going to be cooler than other lower elevation areas. Still get kind of hot probably during the day, but still a good place to go recreating. Okay guys, so here at Vado State Park in New Mexico, we had mentioned some of the recreating opportunities, our boating and things like that. As you can see, the water is actually really low. Now granted, I am coming to you here in April, which most reservoirs, that's going to be one of their lower points because it's before the snow melts and before all that snow melt hits the rivers and fills up these reservoirs. But this is a pretty unusual circumstance. They've told me, the rangers have told me that this is lower than they've seen it in many, many years. Hopefully with snow melt and water diversion, it will eventually fill this back up. But you want to be aware of this before you come out here. So maybe you can give the rangers a call. You can ask them what the current conditions are. A lot of times there'll be little park closures and park announcements on the webpage so that you can find out what is currently happening, what is the boating situation. They are doing some work on the dam here in the next several months. I think from now until June 10th, they're doing work on the dam. That could also be why the level of the water is very low, is because to work on the dam, you have to drop the level. But you do want to be aware of that before you get here, before you make reservations. You might want to give them a call and get the most up-to-date information. So, but I at least wanted to let you guys know what the current conditions are here. It's mid-April of 2022. Well guys, there you have it. There is my review of El Vado Lake State Park here in New Mexico. Again, the water's kind of low and the campground is currently closed. The campgrounds are currently closed, so I couldn't see everything. I was still able to walk around, but it's a little different when you walk around when it's empty versus when there are people there. And so it's a little different feel to it, but I still was able to look at most of the items that are important to you guys. So the size of the site, the RV dump station. I wasn't able to get into the restrooms, to get into the showers, but from my experience so far, they are all pretty much the same. Again, things to keep in mind are this is reservation only for the developed campsites. So there are no walk-ins whatsoever. There is primitive sites over on the west side, and so those are an option for you in the middle of the summer, but if you don't have reservations, you're kind of out of luck if you don't go to those primitive areas. If you just make reservations, you're A-okay, and then you're good to go. So what did you guys think of El Vado Lake State Park? Would you come here? Is this an area that would be interesting to you? It's at 7,200 feet, so it'll be a little cooler in the summer, although still a little warm. But I would love to hear the comments. Or if not here, what is your other favorite either state park or campground in general in the Southwest? I would love to hear about it. Let us know in the comments. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you got something from it. Please subscribe to the channel if you did get something from it. Give us a thumbs up, and we'll see you guys all down the road. Happy trails, guys.